All right, finally making it happen. Just took 3 hours to drive here.
Easy enough.
Ian's back. Then we got Ryan tagging along. This is the team Involio right here.
Thanks for having us on.
Pleasure to be back.
Involio's kind of taking out the scamming aspect of trading, huh?
Yeah.
If you could just give a quick rundown of what it is for people who don't know.
Yeah, I'll kind of give, our thesis has changed a little bit since we've started it, but I'll kind of give you a rundown. So Scott, if you grabbed an average consumer that has never invested in crypto and you have them create an account on Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Kraken, and then you ask them to tell you the difference between any of those platforms, they're going to tell you it's the color of the website. Like there hasn't been any strong...
It's a what website?
It'll be the color of the website is the difference.
Oh, wow.
Like there hasn't been any strong innovation. Like there's no real strong user experience between Kraken and Coinbase or Binance and KuCoin, besides maybe like the UX is a little different or faster speed. So one of the things that we're focusing on is if you kind of go into this Web2 space and look at how some of these platforms have scaled to like hundreds of millions of users, there's always been network effects heavily architected into the platform. So like we've talked about this, where like if you grab like Wikipedia, for example, they have 0.001% of their audience writes content and then they're 99% view it. So like any of these networks that really grow, there's always an easy side and a hard side to it. So like the hard side is the 0.01, which if you can get them, you can get the other tens of millions to view it. So for us, it's how do we get the top performing traders around the world to share their trades? And if we can get that, we can have tens of millions of people come to view it.
Right.
So now that we've kind of built out this social aspect and we were at 180,000 users without spending anything on marketing. Now we're going to launch our decentralized exchange this coming month and then allow all those users that are coming to view those users' trades be able to join them with one click.
Oh, so you guys are launching an exchange as well?
Yep.
Because right now it's just verified trades, right?
Exactly.
Is there any restrictions on the trades? Is it only crypto right now?
We're going to put most of our focus into crypto pretty much from user decision. Like users have just gravitated towards that side of the market, and we'll expand from that once we've kind of conquered the mountain we want to climb, but just futures trading at the beginning.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I'm curious. Do you guys allow like pump fund trades on there? Or is it just not like feasible because of how quick it is?
We've gone
and then Ian, do you mind bringing the mic just about?
We've gone back and forth on this quite a bit, and obviously this entire cycle has been focused on this kind of meme/extraction side of it, and we've talked about over and over and over, like how can we improve that user experience? And the way pump fund changed the industry, it's almost impossible. Like the bad actors have just kind of flooded the space, and if we can find a way that we can make memes a kind of safer consumer journey, we'll pay attention to it. But for now, just hire safer assets.
So would the big risk be like someone's doing like good trades, but they're just rugging everybody?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's a market impact if you have a large following, and we were playing around with the concept of a degen mode for quite a while. But I've looked at so many other platforms that are similar to ours but have a focus on memes, and it really does seem like it's just built for the creators to get extra liquidity.
What are you guys' like overall opinion on pump fund? Because you both have been in crypto. You 2017, right? And then Ryan, when did you start?
2019. 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your overall opinion on this? Because this is I thought it was Wild Wild West before. This is like This is like the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pump fund is probably the fastest growing product in crypto's history and a bit of an anomaly. I've always been kind of an advocate against memes, and I don't like investing in things that have the chance of shooting to zero in seconds. I think pump fund, it's not like it was easy to launch a token prior to pump fund, but it just put it on the map. And I think the content around it of just you go on YouTube, you see people saying how to do a rug pull on pump fund.
Right.
And it's really changed the culture. Like last cycle, if you did an NFT and you didn't follow through with your promises, you were considered a fraudster and really heavily looked down upon. And that has kind of since changed since pump fund came around. And it almost seems like rugging has kind of in a way been normalized. So it's an interesting product. Almost 600 million in their first year generated fees. So you can't really knock that, but not something I really.
Do you happen to know like the history behind the owner of pump fund at all?
He's done minor things throughout the years, and he's always been a face in the space, but pump fund was the first that really put him on the map. So
yeah, I think it's kind of like it's like a mind virus, so to speak. It's kind of like coronavirus infected humanity, like pump fund kind of affected all cryptography.
Yeah.
And so I see like that guy just shot himself on live and he's like, make a meme coin out of this. Or like when they were doing the live streams, the people are like, I'm going to kill myself unless there's like a $50 million market cap or stuff like that.
And that pumped, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did well.
That's
for
insane.
I mean, Pump Fun had a live streaming feature in app at one point, and they had to remove it for similar reasons. There were people playing Russian roulette and just not great things.
Yeah, insane.
Right. So do you think it's overall a bad thing for crypto?
I think it's very, very negatively impacted our industry. I think over this cycle, crypto has kind of gone back to how it was viewed in 2016 as almost a dark market. I think Pump Fun spawned a list of issues, Trump, Libra, could go on a long list.
And even comparing it to like, say, like, I would say crypto was kind of like YouTube, and then Pump Fun came, and that's like TikTok.
Yeah.
Because they're not looking for like a 2-week return. They're looking for like a 2-minute return.
Yeah. And I mean, this was bound to happen at some point or another. Like at the end of the day, people want to make money. And there's a famous character, Murad, who is kind of known for saying crypto's a token generation business. Nothing else. Prove me wrong. And it's a hard argument to disprove. And I'm almost happy it happened. Like I think it was going to happen at one point or another. And some of the bigger situations, specifically Libra, kind of blew the top off of these, industry leaders and titans playing in the background and kind of burning our industry. And I think it's good that came to light. It's been going on for a long time, and I think the meme/extraction cycle is kind of on its way out finally.
Makes sense. Now, how did you guys meet?
It was funny. I was in I think I was 17 when I went to Luca's Discord, Nets Trades.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I remember in Luca's Discord, he was always saying like, Ian's the best trader I've ever seen in crypto. And then had the idea for Involio, and I brought it to Ian. I'm like, let's build this together.
And you were 17 at the time?
This was 2 years later. I just turned 20.
You just turned 20?
When I had the idea.
Oh. My God.
No, I think I was 20 when I first met Ian.
Wow.
20, yeah. I was 20.
Started with a yo on Instagram.
Yeah, I said yo, and he goes, "What's up?" And I'm like, "I have this idea, like, kind of got it barely started, but let's build this together." And he was like, "Let's do it." And then I flew out to Miami. We had dinner, and then like a month later, he flew here, and then like 4 months later, he moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I was about to ask you about your like user growth. Like, how do you get to 180,000 people without any marketing?
Yeah, it goes back to that. Like, if you look at any of these exchanges and what they're focusing on, it's how cheap can you get your users and how often can you get them to take trades. So if you can get, and that's kind of the single thing they're focused on, and none of these exchanges have focused to make the user acquisition cost cheaper or have the user take more trades. So the growth has come so far because we've kind of hyper focused on how do we get this trader that's extremely profitable to take 10 trades a day here and make this their hub. And the way we're doing that is with this DEX launch, users are going to be able to share a fee with us when they share trades. Like we have users that notify 80,000 people when they share a trade. So let's just say like 10,000 of them actually follow it and they have $1,000 and 90+% of our trades are shared with 10x leverage. They're going to make on those 2 bips, they'll make 20 grand. Just from the 10,000 people with $1,000.
Oh, the users will?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
interesting.
On the fee.
Yeah.
So the user shares it, they get that fee. So now it's going to be the strongest incentive for the top traders around the world to share their trades because they can share 5 trades a week, have 10,000 people follow it, and make 100 grand.
Wow.
So that's kind of how we're attracting these users because like we'll do like me and you will do weekly calls and be like, hey, here's what we're building, and that's what's getting them excited. And then and that's kind of where the growth has come from, where if you can have users, like, for example, we have a user that's taken 160 trades in a row without a loss. So when you have stuff like that happen, when their friends are following them their trades, they're going to share with their friends. So we've had like a few YouTube videos go live about it, and then the rest have been from word of mouth.
And this podcast is also brought to you by AutoDS. AutoDS is one of the industry leaders in all dropshipping fulfillment tools, but they take it a whole lot of steps further. Not only can you get dropshipping time down to 2 to 3 business days, you also get so many more tools. Because AutoDS is one of the biggest dropshipping softwares in the world, they've implemented a product research tool that tracks all their analytics, all their orders, and then you can use that data to find your own winning products and see where the trends are going, or even use a product that you know is selling really well right now. They have a TikTok ad spy tool built in so you can even look deep into the TikTok ad side of things for all your product research needs. And all of it is automated. Gone are the days where you need like a VA going around and fulfilling these orders for you. AutoDS, it is completely automated. Not even just the orders, but also the tracking updates and the returns. All of that is taken care of by them. They already have a lineup of 500 million products you can choose from. It sounds like a joke, but that's an actual truth. But I think what really makes them stand out is all their worldwide suppliers that they're connected to. Because most softwares are just like AliExpress and their own suppliers, but these guys are, you know, Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Costco, Target, Overstock, Lowe's, and so many more. AutoDS is truly the all-in-one tool you need for all your dropshipping needs. So if you'd like to test it out, go to the link in the description below. You'll get a special deal through my link. Whether you're brand new at dropshipping or an experienced dropshipper, definitely check these guys out. Now back to the podcast. Okay. What I like about Involio is you can't like erase a trade and you call it.
Yeah.
But you've probably had people be like, hey, let me try to get this right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And what do you even say to her? Like, that's the whole point of your product. So what do you even say to something like
we
that?
Just say we can't do that. Like there were some years that like I accidentally took this trade, and we're like, okay, we can't do anything about that.
And right now, is it still like all free?
Yeah.
Okay, so the membership part hasn't come live yet?
We have like users that can like, you can set up a subscription for like a private community. Like if you want to have like a chat room to like kind of get closer with your audience, you can do that and say like it's $20 a month, but the portfolios will always be free.
I see. And how are you guys planning on making the money? Is it like, are you going to get a percentage of that fee?
Yeah. So we're going to take, we haven't fully decided, but like, let's just say like the average dex maybe takes like 8 to 12 bips. So we would take that fee and then give 2 to the user.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. It's so weird to see how everything's played out with crypto. Like starting in 2017, did you ever expect this to be like, did you even know about NFTs back then?
I bought CryptoKitties in 2017, and then had a bad taste in my mouth for NFTs in general. No, I never. I mean, we all kind of talked about it. We all talked about the golden bull run and 100K BTC, and it always just kind of felt like a dream. And I always say, clearly, I'm in a coma because it all came true.
Right.
And everything, you know, it's not like I'm the only person who believed in that. Anyone who was in that industry 2016, 17, we all had the same beliefs, and it's been really crazy to see this market grow. It's been unfortunate to see what happened this past cycle, and feels like we took a couple steps backwards, but
yeah,
I think we'll move faster.
Because I remember you were telling me you saw, what was it, Shiba Inu on launch day, right?
Yeah, we were buying, so Doge did really well, obviously, and then my buddy Fox and I were trying to buy every other dog token. I bought Poodle instead, and then Sheeb turned into a multi-billion-dollar.
How were you finding those coins back then?
Through Twitter mostly, seeing if there's any buzz. It wasn't really hard to go find new tokens. There were a list of different platforms you can see like new launches. It's kind of like you could always find. It was kind of similar to Pump Fund, where Pump Fund starts at a 6.8K market cap, and migrates at 100K.
Right.
You could always look at kind of really, really micro caps, and as they launch, it was mostly kind of cross-referencing of what other people were buying on Twitter at the time.
Makes sense. When you guys meet people who like just random people and you say what you do you tell them what you actually do? Or do you make up a lie?
I say I'm in software now because it's...
Yeah, same. I say I'm in tech.
Yeah, it depends on who's asking. Like, it's usually a barista or something, and it's a harder conversation.
Right, because I'm sure you both have been like, oh, yeah, I do this, and then it's always those questions, follow up, can I get your number? We can
Exactly.
connect or something like that.
Yeah.
I found the best thing to tell people is I used to deal drugs, so I bought a lot of Bitcoin in 2017, and I just sat on it. Like, what are you going to pick my brain about now, motherfucker?
Yeah, I try to say I'm in tech, otherwise there's like 30 questions after.
Yeah. And the scene in crypto is pretty big in Scottsdale, right?
I would say no.
What's the main scene out there? Is it e-com or real estate?
I mean, it's probably real estate, but the startup scene's picking up, but I feel like it's probably real estate.
Are you guys friends with Ricky Gutierrez?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Have you seen him like trolling everybody on Michael Saylor stuff?
Yeah.
Every single post is that. I love looking at the comments. Everyone's freaking out. Because that's the one thing I've realized about like some of the crypto crowd, especially Bitcoin, like what do you call them, Bitcoin maxis?
Bitcoiners,
It's like don't you dare speak out. It's honestly like the Taylor Swift crowd.
Yeah.
Like if you criticize what they love, they will come after you.
Yeah.
XRP, Cardano.
Now, Ryan, you started with options trading, right?
Yeah, I started with options trading, and then it's funny. Actually, no, I started with Forex, and then options, and then crypto. My senior year was crypto.
Did you have success with Forex?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I feel like the ideology of honestly, even with what we're doing in Involio and any type of trading with different asset classes, I mean, to me, I view it as this like this pattern matching where I would like go through thousands of charts and just spend like 16 hours a day trading, and then seeing what price looks like before it makes a certain move. It's kind of like anything. Like I'm sure with like drop shipping, you have like 1,000 products you test, and then after a certain period of time, you get really good at being able to tell like exactly what's going to work. Exactly, yeah. So I think like that pattern matching is like you can go to any industry. So when you're trading like forex, stocks, crypto, like there is definitely differences, but the idea of just understanding how certain things move and what that looks like can go hand in hand.
How come I've never met a successful forex trader? What's up with that? It's always a scammer.
Yeah, that is crazy actually. I feel like, and me and Ian have know this firsthand. I feel like a lot of the people in that forex space that are driving a super nice car or anything like that, they're not actually trading, and it's from like the perception of being a good trader, and then posting the cars and posting this and having different deals on the side.
Forex got popular via MLMs, and it kind of just exploded from there. IM Academy was kind of one of the first starters of that, and there are so many different dark markets in Forex, and we've moved mostly away from that for that reason.
Yeah, because it's strange because it is a thing, right? So it's like, how can there not be one like legitimate person?
Like there's got to be some out there, but like I don't think it's the people posting in front of the cars.
I've met guys who are good at it. But yeah, they mostly don't post on social media. I mean, Forex is a very non-volatile market compared to crypto, at least. So, I mean, I built trading systems in Forex at one point just to see how that would go, and it was quite a bit easier than building a system in crypto. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys who kill it behind the scenes. But
and you have built like algorithms for crypto, right? How do you even go about building an algorithm? Is it basically like kind of like implementing the pattern matching sort of thing into code?
Exactly. So I'm not a developer. I've always worked with the same guy through the past, call it 4 years. There was a big debate. So AI is obviously a huge topic now, and it's made a huge progress. But in call it 2018, 2019, it wasn't really there. If you had, a $500 million fund and 60 engineers, you could probably build an AI-focused trading script. But if you didn't, it was pretty much impossible. And I never really thought that AI could learn crypto. Crypto changes on a daily to hourly basis. Like there's always something new. What ticked in the last market cycle does not tick in this cycle.
Right.
So I always leverage social sentiment. I always believed that was a better indicator than AI in general. I just never believed that there was ever going to be an AI that would actually fully learn this market. And I kind of moved away from it. Because of how quickly this market changes, I spent, call it 2 years ripping my hair out trying to build a system that just worked and I could sleep and have it do well for me. And it did work really well for quite a while. And then I didn't have the infrastructure to continuously iterate and change it. And I quickly realized I'm going to have to spend, 18 hours a day every single day to make this happen. And at that point, I think I could do better myself.
Do you think there'll ever come a day where AI is able to trade with 100% accuracy?
No, I don't personally. Like, I watched a couple of people talk about this over the event the past couple of days. Like, can you train an AI agent to trade perfectly for you? And they were as well talking about social sentiment. And it's, there's a lot of bad actors in this space. And how do you make sure that AI is being fed the right information and there isn't someone or multiple people on the other end of it trying to game it?
Right.
And I think like I think it's relatively easy to build a bot that just trades BTC or ETH or, any of those top pairs. And it's kind of same as anything. If you want to just be a trader, the best piece of advice I could give is focus on a couple or one asset class and just trade that.
Right.
Just learn it like the back of your hand. And, it's not that difficult to build a system around something like that, but there's so many things you can't account for. Crypto moves on the drop of a dime. A headline could come out, and if you don't have a system that can automatically catch that, and as well, there's a lot of fake headlines on Twitter, right?
Oh, that's true.
So there's so many different variables that make having an AI without actual judgment skills really do it.
Didn't you say you knew somebody who they built an algorithm, wasn't it for oil's futures or something like that, and they leased it out?
Yeah, actually, so to IM Academy.
It's IM Academy?
Yeah, it was I don't know if I should say his name, but a friend of mine leased a trading script out to IM Academy.
For a lot of money, I remember.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember what his upfront payment was, but it was at least $250,000 a month for a while. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ryan, did you ever get into that? Did you ever get into like any sort of algorithmic thing, especially with Forex? I feel like that would be the most optimal once it's so consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought about it, but never had a deep dive in it. A lot of people I was working with weren't doing it. So I think if I would have like been working with Ian on something like that, I think we probably would have done something, but no.
Gotcha.
We've talked about it more recently of just building scripts that can kind of learn the platform and, find a way to catch these top traders before they start to go on their long-term runs. So it's a different game. Like if I had the back end to Twitter, I'm sure I could have built a really phenomenal social sentiment scanner, but I didn't. So
Gotcha.
Yeah,
we have
that's kind of the thing we're thinking about now is like, if we're going to be the platform that's going to be the number one incentive for these top traders to share trades, because there's really no cap on how much they could make from having 1 million people mimic their trade and making $100,000 every time that happens, that the data we're going to start to be able to pull will be kind of like unheard of. Then that it really hasn't been done before. So we're just trying to figure out ways where we can kind of predict what traders are going to perform well. And then one of the things we're going to do is when we launch our exchange, we're going to have like right now on the platform, we have like a trending following most recent feed. We're going to have like a fire moves feed, and we're creating an algo for it now where it'll be like the top performing traders based on certain metrics. And it'll just be like a new trade every 5-10 minutes that the average user can click join, and it'll be like 80-90% accurate.
Wow. Yeah, because I was going to say, what's to stop someone from making an algorithm based on Involio's top traders?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, that we've had so many users ask like for API access so that they can automate it. But we haven't like set up a system for that yet, and I don't know if we'll end up doing that or not.
But would they even need that? Couldn't they just do it a different way? I mean, it's a public website.
Rocket tried to do that at one point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables that go into it, and if you don't have our API access, it's kind of impossible, just because eventually there'll be a minor problem that you can't really control, and just kill the whole board. So
I see. So going through, like, meeting all these new people, I'm sure you met tons of new people, top traders, very high end influencers in the crypto. And do you do stocks too, or no?
Just crypto. Yeah,
just crypto.
Yeah, well, we see the lowest kind of friction path to 10 million people is just focusing on one asset.
Oh, I see.
Like if we can just target crypto, we can just target crypto users. Crypto users are sharing with their friends, and I think it becomes a little bit more difficult to do that with multiple asset classes because you're trying to like juggle two different networks at the same time. So there is a possibility that we hit 10 million users in crypto, and we raise a large amount of money and have the ability for someone to mimic a crypto trade and then the same wallet mimic a stock trade.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask is, like, obviously you shouldn't say names, but has there ever been like notable people that you thought were like super legit and then they came to Involio and they kind of like exposed themselves?
Totally.
That's happened quite a few times.
Yeah. And this is something you'll find really interesting. If you go to our like top 20 users, and some of them just have like ridiculous track records. Most of them don't have more than 100 followers on Instagram or Twitter, don't even have their socials.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're not social media people. They're just people that are just sitting in their room trading crypto all day.
Most of the best traders in the world, other than the top of the top, you probably have never heard of, or any of us really.
That makes sense. Yeah, I know one of the top. He might have like the top stock Discord, I believe. Got major beef with that guy. I'm not mentioning his name. Stay away from that guy.
Okay.
But I was just I was just curious about that, and I'm also curious about. I've heard this, and it seems like to be the case. This run around, it seems like if you add utility, you kind of hurt your coin. Is this correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been really unfortunate. Of like,
Sadly.
This has been a meme cycle. Like, I can only think of two really good runners over this past cycle that were tech related projects: Mantra, Hyperliquid, and then the rest of them have all been memes. And I honestly just don't really understand it. Like, I partially understand the side of the meme cycle of, there's a very specific culture to it, and I think it can be fun until it's not.
Right.
But I think the driving factor is just influencers propping it up and making it seem like this is the place to be. And, if you actually look into the stats of Pump Fun, I think it's 0.06% of the user base has made more than $10,000.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So really, it's like, when they say the user base, is that including like the people actually creating the coin, or are they just saying like the people buying on it?
People buying.
Okay, because everyone I know who's in deep with the coin creation, they're making a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean,
but it can't sit right with the soul.
And that's probably less than 0.06%.
Right.
Yeah.
It just can't sit right with the soul. I dabbled in it a bit, and it just doesn't feel right.
No.
It kind of feels like a sort of drug.
Yeah.
You know, because you can easily get addicted to it, and once you're addicted to that, it's so hard to do anything else, especially if you get one big pump or something like
Totally.
that.
I feel like that's scamming in general too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like once you scam something, like I wouldn't do this, and then it's kind of just like it gets worse and worse and worse, and you keep making more money. It's exactly like the drug.
That's what I like about Involio, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, how do I avoid scams?" It's like, and I told you guys this at the beginning. I was like, it's gonna get to the point where like if they're not in Involio, it's gonna be suspicious.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, why would you not?
Yeah.
I guess because can they still have a Discord community if they're on Involio?
Yeah, we have we have chat rooms and we're building it out now. But we have like an Involio Discord where some of our top users can like chat with their following there, so they'll have their own section. But we're ramping up the team now. Like we'll pass 1 million users likely within 4 to 6 months of launch. And then once we do that, if you look at any like crypto trading platform, if you have 1 million users on it, you can raise between 50 and 150 million. So we're going to do a larger raise, significantly increase the size of the team, and then have like a chat feature similar to Discord. But it's pretty like we're extremely focused on the trading now. And then once we nail that, we're going to expand everything. So it'll probably be like live trading on Involio. We might do a card where like you can mimic a trade and then spend the money you just made. So a lot of that stuff will come once we kind of nail this original vision.
What's been like the biggest hurdle you guys have had to get over building this?
Technical wise, or
just in general, like what was the toughest part?
I mean, we'll probably both have different answers. To me, I feel like it's the team. Like we have such a strong team now, but it took so long. That guy's flipping this off.
Did it?
Yeah.
I got that on camera too.
It took a while to kind of really nail the team. I feel like that's like the most important part for a startup, because it's all about your ability to iterate. So like if you look at any of these companies, like for example, Slack's a $10 billion plus company. They started out making a video game. And then they failed. And then the investors were like, well, like you still have a little money left. We won't take it. Let's see what you guys can do. And they built their own version of Slack just to talk while they're building the video game. They're like, this is a cool thing. Let's do it. So to me, it's like even since beginning of Involio, we've iterated hundreds of times, and it's all about how quick can you understand what users want, and then immediately start building that. And that all goes back to the team. So like the team we've put together now is phenomenal, and we're starting to see those iteration cycles go quicker and quicker. And we've kind of like laid the infrastructure to be able to do that. And as we start to launch the decks, we'll be able to quickly like kind of add people to the team, where that only gets faster.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on that. I think building anything, your biggest hurdle is going to be the team you build. I think Ryan and I work really well together because we just had semi-different experiences and look at certain things slightly different. We couldn't always land in the middle, and I think that helps a lot. I've had to learn Figma for design's sake. It's just we've worked with 6 different design teams, and none of them were really the perfect fit. And you realize after a certain point, like whoever's working on this project has to be obsessed with it. Like, and the reason the designers didn't work out is because they're not constantly using the product and they don't understand the specific like minor needs.
Where'd you find your designers at?
Ian.
Well, I'm
India, you said?
Ian.
it's me now.
Yeah. Like
that's right.
I completely agree with the obsession thing, because it's so interesting. Like Ian said, we've talked to these designers, and where Ian will just sit on the front of the computer for 16 hours a day and be like, how do I tweak this thing out? And we'll get on a call, and he'll be like, what do you think about these color blues? I'm like, they're the same to me. And he's like, well, they got it. Like he's just so obsessed with it, where I'm like, and I think it goes like to the obsession thing. It's so interesting. Like I tell Ian this story all the time, where it's like when Bill Gates was building Microsoft, he would be in the car with people and they'd turn the music on, and he'd be like, turn that off because it's less time I can think about Microsoft. Yeah. Like that level of obsession.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy to me. It's a little schizophrenic.
Well, you have to be crazy, right? Like I think delusion takes. Like I think anyone starting from zero and saying, we're going to build this multi-billion-dollar company, like you're delusional, right? And it's like, I think you kind of need that to a certain bit, and like everyone's going to tell you you're crazy, right? No one's going to believe in it, and you have to hold on to that to kind of push through it. And the design stuff, they mostly came from just like introductions from other groups, and no disrespect to any of the designers, they're all great in their own right. It just wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, that makes sense. That Slack story reminds me of the Juul story. Do you guys know about what happened with Juul? So they wanted to make a harmless cigarette. This was some people in Palo Alto, these kids at Stanford.
Yeah.
And it kept blowing up. Like they said, one time one of their investors went to hit it and it blew up, and one of the pieces went straight into the ceiling. That's how hard it was. So it kept failing, and then there was this other company. I'm sure you saw it. It looked like a cigarette, but it was like it glowed red at the bottom.
I don't remember what it's called. But.
Yeah, that was made by the tobacco company. So they had to scratch the idea, and they're like, okay, well, we'll try this like dry herb thing. Maybe we can just grind the tobacco. So they launched Pax. You know, Pax, yeah,
Wow,
by
that's no
Flume,
idea.
because it was called the Flume, and then they did Pax by Flume. They're like, yeah, this will get the tobacco users, but ended up getting smoked up by all the weed smokers, and that became the successful product. So like, okay, great, and then they rolled all that money into Juul.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
That's insane.
But their whole mission was like get as many people off of cigarettes as possible.
Yeah.
But the craziest stat is less than 1%, I believe, of high schoolers use nicotine before the Juul launched, and then 2 years later it was like 45%.
That's insane.
So yeah, it seems like a lot of times, like, was it Involio the original idea, or was it someone like where it looped back? This podcast is brought to you by dropshipping.ai. That means this podcast is brought to you by myself. This is my website. This website is completely free for everybody. I don't want your money now or later. This is not some funnel. This is completely free. You get a free dropshipping store built by AI. You get free products chosen by AI, and you get a free course on how to use AI to dropship in the modern day era. AI has changed every industry. Everybody knows that, and dropshipping is not excluded. We have the most relevant, most powerful, most up-to-date information specifically tailored to dropshipping and AI fusion that we're seeing right now. And like I said before, this is completely free. I'm one of Shopify's top affiliates in the entire world. In fact, I was awarded top Shopify affiliate in North America, so they pay me to give you guys this for free. It's a beautiful cycle called the cycle of life. So if you want to support yourself and support this podcast and support me, go to dropshipping.ai, claim that store, claim those products, claim that course, and let's get back to the podcast.
It was definitely like super iterative. Like I think the original vision was like you can share any asset. Like so it'd be like crypto stocks, sneakers, real estate, like it was everything. And then you kind of realize like that's not how any great company is built, is by like focusing at all these things at once.
Except I guess Amazon did books first.
Yeah, Amazon did
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
So would you guys eventually branch out to all those?
Yeah, but I don't know about all those, but yeah, you're right. Like Amazon did books. Like I remember eBay did like dolls. Like every company that's
Like
really,
the Beanie Babies?
I forgot what kind of dolls they were, but like that was the only thing that was being sold on eBay.
Wow.
So I feel like that's one of those things where you kind of learn as you go. Where like we were doing that, we're like realizing like that there was no like real connection on the app. You'd have someone post about real estate, and then one about sneakers, and then one about crypto. So we kind of quickly realized that we have to narrow that down. So that's kind of probably one of the bigger iterations at the beginning.
I see.
Yeah.
I think the core goal has always been kind of cleaning up the space and offering a safe, soft landing for retail investors getting into the market, be it stocks, crypto, forex, commodities, and focusing on crypto first, solving the problems there, and then if there's a reason and if we can expand that and help other industries, we'll do it. So.
That makes sense. Do you guys ever think about throwing Involio events, or have you? Like kind of like what the NFT people did?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely soon.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
See, I like that because so many people get in. The reason like there's like I have like that bad taste in my mouth about crypto is because now it's just like all about how can I extract as much money as it's the greater fool's theory across the board, but you guys are actually doing like a service to it and cleaning that up in a way.
Yeah, I think at a certain point I want to do like an Involio house and just get our top traders in the same place and just see how far we can take it.
That'd be wild. Sedona?
Yeah. Yeah. Sedona trip.
That's so crazy. I can't believe that guy just flipped us off. We've been dealing with a lot of hostility today. Never drive a Cybertruck in Denver.
No, I never expected that. I mean,
Yeah,
we've been screamed at like 10 times.
I pulled up, I got trash poured all over my car. That night somebody threw dog poop on it. We're driving around, people are flicking us off, yelling at us. That guy probably knew I drove the car, so he probably flicked us off.
Yeah.
It's like hostile.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The whole world is getting so hostile.
Yeah.
Do you think in terms of crypto in general, do you think it's been a pro or a con for society?
Oh, I think there are aspects of crypto that are, I think immutable data in of itself, like that would be the main piece of crypto I'd look at, just blockchain in general and having immutable data. And I think that's really valuable. Like I think
What's immutable data?
can't delete it. Like the blockchain.
Oh,
is-
right.
And I think
Well, just to clarify what I'm saying, I think obviously crypto is a good thing, but the effect it's had, especially on this last cycle, is more so my question.
Yeah, I mean, I think leading up to this cycle, I know it individually changed a lot of lives.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's created a very positive narrative through the world, and there are countries looking at immutable data now, and there's a lot of fraud and corruption in governments across the world, and I think in a perfect world, having that kind of hidden via blockchain or immutable data in general is very positive. And this cycle, I mean, this is the first time I've seen anything like it. Like, I can't think of one meme that did well this cycle that it's going to be around next cycle. And we had Doge and Sheeb and a couple others that lasted the test of time. And
You tell me fart coins not sticking around.
and I think this has had a really negative effect.
Yeah, I could see that. I couldn't imagine like the effect on like the youth.
Yeah.
Try telling. I was talking about that before. It's like try telling a kid who made 50,000 when they're like 16 to like not to do anything different.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going to the casino and like getting a jackpot, and then you move to Vegas, and then you're just trying to get that jackpot again.
Exactly.
What do you think about the origins of it all? Like, what are your theories on it with Satoshi Nakamoto and all this? Like, because I've heard like it could go multiple ways. Like Satoshi is Putin, or like I've also heard the fact that it's kind of like controlled opposition, where the CIA created it, and then they're trying to seem like they're opposed to it, but really they're the creators of it, and they're trying to switch everybody into a trackable.
Yeah.
Because that's the downside, I guess, how it's all trackable. There's pros and cons to that aspect as well.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like the latter. What you said is something I've always kind of like loosely believed in as a conspiracy theory, and Trump has made it clear he doesn't want to do CBDCs, but that was a very popular narrative for quite a while. And if you wanted to soften the landing to getting, cash kind of removed from an economy and moving into digital assets, like this would be a really great on-ramp to do that.
Yeah.
And a really great way to normalize it before it. And it's a scary concept, like you just said, of, having 100% transparency on everything. Like that's definitely a little scary, and hopefully we don't go that far into it. But I think it's necessary for governments to have full transparency.
That's true.
Ryan and I realized that Fort Knox hasn't been audited in since 1963.
Yeah. Before that, even I think it was like 1940.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
That could be the catalyst for the ultimate crash right there.
Seriously.
Because they said
Find
they
out
want to
there's
do
no gold
they want to do
there.
like a live stream going down there.
They had a live stream and there's
Kick.
no gold. Holy shit.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a lot of money if you're watching that live.
Yeah.
Like puts on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a catalyst you think that could just destroy the entire crypto? Like imagine Satoshi like rug pulls or something like that.
Yeah, if Satoshi came back and started touching that wallet, this market dies in a night.
And what year did Bitcoin get invented?
Ooh.
I think it's 2009, right?
I want to say it was 2007, but maybe 2009.
Yeah.
When did Steve Jobs die?
Oh, I have no idea.
Might have been 9.
Yeah, I think there's a theory that it was like Steve Jobs who created it.
Oh, really?
That would be insane.
Have you ever heard about that? Apparently, like lines up with the timeline like perfectly, and that was going to be like his next big project, but like on the down low.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. So, what are your guys' plans for the future in terms of, like, because you've already raised like how many rounds?
We've raised 2. We raised 2.6.
2.6, and then when do you start raising the third round?
Well, once we have distribution set up. Like again, all of our growth has come from 3 YouTube videos and word of mouth.
Wow.
And we're going to have, we don't want to go into it too much right now, but we have like a really, really strong distribution set up. And we think we can onboard close to 1 million users within the first like 4 to 6 months. And then once that happens, we're going to go for a significantly larger raise, probably closer to 100 million.
And how do you find these types of investors? Is it just through networking?
Yeah, it's not even networking anymore. A lot of it's through like our current investors. So like, it's kind of funny how VCs work. Like, really, it's like they come in, you start doing well, they want to tell their friends that they could mark up their book. So a lot of the intros that we've gotten have just been from our VCs. And then once we kind of hit this like hyper growth and we have 1 million people, it's no longer like us contacting the VCs. A lot of it will just be like our investors like saying, hey, we have this group. Let me know if you want in.
I see.
Yeah.
So I know how it works with like if someone's paying a monthly. You guys aren't charging monthly for Involio right now,
No.
right? So how does it even get valued if there's no like monthly recurring?
A lot of it's just based on like the size of the market you're going after and the retention you have now. So like one of the things that investors are looking at now is like how cheap we're getting our users and how sticky it is. So it's like something that we're focused on is like how do we get as many of our users to become daily active, and then the percentage of that is like how investors will look at what you're doing. But I would say the biggest thing is like the kind of the size of the vision you're going after. So for us, it's like investors will come in at a whatever valuation, because if we hit this, it's not like $100 million win. It's like it's either we lose or this is a $10 billion company.
I see.
Yeah.
I have a question for you then I want to run by. So, and tell me if this would be legal or not. Say, because like the average, say you have 100 paying members on like and say like a stock trading AI, and it's $1,000 a year. What would that be valued at for 100 members at 1,000?
What is that?
Isn't it like a 5 to 15x multiple usually?
Yeah.
So let's say in the middle, $1 million, right?
Yeah.
What if you did like you created that and then you offered a deal for the first 100 users, they get 0.1% of ownership, so that when it hits 100 members, it's automatically valued at $1 million and they all make their money back. Is that like a legal thing you can do?
You could do that.
You could do that?
Yeah, because you can give. I mean, it's the same thing as like just giving oh, you're saying they would actually. I mean, as long as. Because one thing you can't do is you can't have someone that makes less than $400K a year or a net worth of $1 million invest in a startup.
But
so if you're not having them invest, if it's just like
it's an incentive for being
incentive.
First 100 members.
Yeah, you could give equity to as many people as you want.
Isn't that like so? Like it seems like a hack, right? To just give away equity like that, and just like their first 100 members are equity partners, and then they're valued at $1 million.
It depends on who you're giving it to. Like I think a lot of people don't really understand the value of equity and just want like immediate money. And as well, if you give equity to the wrong person and they kind of fall off, you've really shot yourself.
What do you mean by fall off?
Stop contributing.
Like not renewing the.
No, but like let's just say you give money to let's just say like 1% to an advisor, and then if they stop working, and then now you have debt equity on your cap table. So when you're going to raise a larger round, VCs will they'll go through every name on the cap table, and you kind of have to defend it. Like here's what they're doing, here's what they're doing, and if you have 10 people with 1% that aren't doing anything, it just makes you look horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Someone came to me with that idea recently. I'm like, it sounds good, but I don't know if it's legal or not.
It sounds a little MLM-y, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You originally lived in Miami. Have you lived in Scottsdale your whole life?
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you ever think about moving to Miami or anything where crypto is more prevalent?
Yeah.
What stopped you? Well, I'm sure when you went out to meet Ian, you were thinking about moving there, right?
Yeah, it's not. I was supposed to play soccer in college, and
Oh yeah. Tell that story.
yeah,
Because you lived in Santa Monica too for a bit,
I
right?
was there.
Right now, Snapchat is allowing me to offer you a special deal where if you spend $350 in ads, you're going to get $375 in ad credits. Snapchat's often one of the most overlooked advertising platforms there is, but it's also one of the largest. So if you have ads running on other platforms that are already working, take advantage of this deal just to see what would happen if you took it over to Snapchat, because Snapchat is a whole different audience, and the average Snapchat user opens it 40 times a day. I know a lot of you watching right now open it maybe 60 times a day. So you might as well go ahead and try this out, because you would be surprised how well this works and how many businesses this has really scaled up for.
So what happened was, my senior year I committed to play soccer at UCSB. And that was the year I got like obsessed with trading. This is during COVID. So like COVID changed my life for the better, because we didn't have to go to school anymore. So the second half of that year I was trading like 15 hours a day. And my parents didn't know I was doing that, and I was wanting to I kind of always thought like they're never going to they won't let me stay at home. I have to be going to college because they're so like college focused. So I was waiting till the day I turned 18. I was looking at different places to live. I was at the time, I just really wanted to live near the beach, just like change things up. So I was looking at Miami or California, and the day I turned 18, I signed a 1-year lease to live out of an office in Santa Monica, and I remember setting it up, and it was like an air mattress and then like a desk.
No bathroom.
And I remember seeing the photo. Yeah, no bathroom, no shower. So I remember there was like a gym like in the building. And I remember like seeing the photos on because I never actually visited the office until I drove there. And it was like, I remember seeing like this window and like, I can't have people like walking by and seeing my shoes, my clothes, my bed. So I like brought like a black tarp. And then me and my friends were going to Cali for the 4th. So I just packed my car up because my parents were on vacation somewhere else. And I packed my car up, drove me and my friends there, and then sent them a video from the office. So
Nice.
like, hey guys, I'm actually not going to go to college. I'm going to do this. And they don't respond. And then I call them and they're like crying, like, what are you doing? Because they just spent 18 years helping me become this soccer player and setting all these things up, and then told them I wasn't going to.
Wow.
So, and then came back to Arizona just because like, they're like, that's fine. Like, we'll like they were like really pissed for a little bit. And then they finally like, were like, all right, like, this is what you're going to do. We can't stop you.
Right.
So then kept trading, had like a little office, and then like 12 months later started working with Ian.
So why did you move to the office to begin with?
I just didn't want to be in a house, and I wanted a place to work. I honestly don't know. I mean, it probably would have been smarter to get a house, like an apartment. I don't know why I thought an office was the best idea.
I think it's a great founder story.
I have no idea, actually. I should have gotten an apartment now that I think about it.
You're just realizing this now?
Yeah. That's actually ridiculous why I thought that. I think I probably was just like hearing all these stories of other people living in their office, so my brain was just like, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure it was motivational.
yeah, definitely.
So if coronavirus never hit, you'd probably still be playing soccer?
I would have definitely dropped out, but I would have taken me a little bit longer.
You would have dropped out either way?
Yeah, I knew my junior year before I wasn't even going to do anything that I wasn't going to finish. But I didn't know what it is.
Of college or high school?
College.
You went for 2 years?
No, I know. I'm saying in my junior year of high school, I knew like no matter what college I go to, I'm not gonna graduate.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Which is an interesting question. So when you have those feelings, like you're like, okay, like you almost don't know where it comes from. Like, okay, I'm not going to go to college. Or for you, like the idea for one product drop shipping, right? Like you almost don't realize where that's coming from.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that is?
I think it's
And do you think you control that?
No, I think it's an idea trying to manifest itself into the world. That's why you see inventions be invented in multiple different places around the world at the same time throughout history. And it's just about like, it's kind of like throwing bait into a pond and seeing which fish takes it.
You
know?
Do you believe in free will?
Yeah, I believe in free will. I think I don't believe in free will, like you control your thoughts or anything, but I have the free will to choose what you follow with your thoughts. Because think about how many people have great ideas and they never did anything with it. Like that's the horrible outcome, is at the end of your life you're like, you had all these great ideas but you never did. And that's the one thing, like somebody's got to do it, right? So it's just like, if that person does it, like somebody has to do it.
I want to get your thoughts on this. So like I have an interesting view on free will. So like I agree with you that if you don't control your thoughts, right? So I think there's two things that dictate your thoughts. So it's one, like the environment you're born into, which you don't control. And the second one is like the next thought that pops into your head. Like if we're just like sitting here and like you're like thinking about where I want to grab food, it's not like you know where you want to grab food. The thought of food comes, and then whatever thought pops into your head, whether it's a cheeseburger or Mexican food, whatever it is, that's what you can take action on. So
you don't think you control that?
So this is what I think. Like has there ever been a time in your life where you've controlled the next thought that's popped into your head?
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I think if you're sitting somewhere, like you can even meditate or whatever, and if you sit there for like 20 minutes, you have no idea what you're going to think about. Like if you're like, okay, I'm going to go meditate for 30 minutes, or I'm going to go on a walk, like, and you're just like, I'm going to go on a walk with nothing I think I'm like need to think about right now, but I'm going to go on a walk. You have no idea what you're going to end up thinking about. So if you are never controlling the next thought that pops into your head, and all your actions come from your thoughts, have you ever controlled anything you've done? So there's like two ways of thinking on this. So you can think you don't control the next thought, but you choose what you do with your thoughts. That's one way of thinking, which I think is like you're in that boat. And I'm not saying I'm in either boat, but there's another way of thinking, which I kind of shoot the shit with my friends about this, where like I've come up with like three things where like you have a level 1, level 2, and level 3 thought. So you're just walking around, like whether it's like me not going to college, right? There's levels to each thought. So like a level 1 is like something pops into your head and you're like, how did that just get in my head? Like That's just the most insane thought. Like why is that even something that could possibly come to my head, right? And then you just don't take action on it. And there's not even a thought about taking action. And then a level 2 is I like have this idea. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to do it. I kind of don't, but I'm not really going to do it. And then a level 3 is like you're just going to take action on it. So like for you, one product dropshipping was like you had this level 3 thought and you're like, I'm going to do this no matter what. Right. So for like me not going to college, like it's almost like I didn't have a choice. Like it was like I can't go to college. I don't know why. Every single one of my friends went to college, but this level 3 thought came into my head and I cannot go to college. So I think there's like 2 ways of looking at it. And the reason that I think some people want to look at it in this L1, L2, L3 way is not like to think like, oh, I don't have control over anything I do, but actually you don't hate anybody. Because if no one has control over what they're doing, you can't like have this hate for them. So it's kind of like, I don't necessarily believe in both, but I just think it's like, I think it's kind of interesting.
But if they don't know what they're doing, so they don't even control their actions?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they don't control what they're saying either?
Yeah.
So they're just not going to control?
That's a theory. I'm like, that's just a theory I came up with. Like, cause
that no one's in control? Yeah,
the reason why I came up with this theory is one of our investors, Craig Weiss, he founded Enjoy, the first e-cigarette company, raised like hundreds of millions of dollars for it. And he was Jewish, and he's always been Jewish his whole life. And he read this book called Journey of Souls. And it was about this guy that can put someone under deep hypnosis and ask you what you did in your past life. And it's the most insane book because they'll ask you like, where do you go? What did you do? All these things. And everyone says the exact same thing. Like when you die, where do you go? Who do you see? How do you come back down to earth? And it's like a book that kind of tries to prove, what's it when you come back down to life? Reincarnation. And when in the book, it says like when you're coming back down to this life, like let's say you murdered someone in your last life. Maybe your like best friend murders someone in this next life so you can learn from that. So like that's kind of what the book goes at. So then if that's true and those 1,000 people that were under deep hypnosis, they all said the same thing, which is kind of hard to deny.
Right.
And if you are coming back here to choose what you want to do, then that already played out and you're just like experiencing it. So I think there could be a play, or not a play, but like a theory of you've actually never controlled anything you've ever done, said, or anything.
But if you have the thought of, am I going to go left or right? Don't you have the free will to choose left or right?
I mean, if you never, so let's just say, like, let's say, for example, like, let's just say you're walking right and you don't know where you want to go and it's like left or right. You're going to have you might not have the thought to pop into your head to go left or right. If you don't, like, let me tell you this story real quick because this will be a better example. This guy goes into a house. This is a true story. He goes into the house. There weren't supposed to be kids there. He ties 2 kids up.
Whoa.
He takes everything out of the house. He realized that he had fingerprints, so he lit the house on fire and the 2 girls died. And he got caught and they're like, why did you do that? Like you could have untied the girls and then you wouldn't have these like life in prison. And he goes, honestly, I didn't, like the thought didn't even pop in my head to untie him. So when he's in that house, he cannot untie the girls unless that thought pops into his head to do it. It's absolutely impossible. So when you're on your walk and you're choosing to go left or right, if you don't have the thought to pop into your head to go left or right, you'll keep going straight. If you do have that thought, then there's going to be some pull to left or right. Like there's naturally like, they're like, why am I pulling left or right? But that like you already have that feeling when that thought pops in your head.
I don't know. That's a hard one because then you're just saying we're consciousness experiencing a plot that's already laid out.
I'm not saying I fully believe this. I just think it's interesting to think about.
I personally think it's more like an antenna where you get all these signals from dark forces, evil forces, and light forces, and good forces, and your forces, and then it's up to free will to decide which one you're going to do.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Like the ultimate antenna, like a radio station, getting lots of signals and which one are you going to tune into, and then the free will comes from the decision with that thought.
Sure. Yeah, that could be it too. I mean, and it's not like I want to believe, like I don't fully believe either one of these. And I think yours is like a better way to look at life because then you feel like you have more control over what you're doing. I mean, I just think it's very hard to debate that you've ever had any control over what you've done if you've never controlled the next thought that's popped into your head and all your actions come from your thoughts.
I don't know, because I feel like I could control what I'm about to say next, and I'm not even thinking about what I'm going to say next. It's kind of like automated.
Maybe.
It's just like fulfilling the sentence.
Yeah, maybe like since this podcast has started, like you've asked like questions, but it's just what question pops into your head to ask. Like we could have gone down a completely different conversation path if you would have asked a different question that popped into your head.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ian's like, let's stop fucking talking about it.
No, I
After reading all the CIA.gov files, I've decided not to go down those paths anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you guys went down that route.
Oh, I went crazy in 2018.
What's the one Operation Stargate?
Yeah.
Read that entire file.
What's the most shocking thing?
Well, I went down that and then the surrounding files around it, and to me, as a 17-year-old kid at the time, it just made me think none of this is real. Life doesn't matter. This is pretty much what he's saying, but on a different scale of just we're in a video game or a simulation, and I'm either going to spend the rest of my life figuring that out, and even if I did figure it out, no one would believe me, and I'll go crazy doing that. And, the raw definition of insanity is questioning the same thing over and over without
That makes sense.
right? And so I just, I'm either going to play the game and enjoy it or go crazy trying to play it. And
Yeah.
I'd rather have a good life.
Have you ever heard the theory that Saturn is Satan? That's a supercomputer, and our souls pass through it, and the mark of the beast is the human body itself.
Yeah.
Because the human body is 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons.
I
So
didn't know
666 right there. Saturn has the hexagon, which is 6 sides. It's 6 miles deep. It's the 6th planet. And apparently it's like our souls are trapped in this reality. And what I believe is like every religion talks about be more good than evil. And that's what the word of Jesus talked about, be more good. It was kind of like sending a message, because like I had to replace these batteries because they were dead. But if this is like an energy harvesting thing, if you're not a negative person, then your soul is not reincarnated. It's tossed out like an old battery, and then you're truly free. But if you just keep reincarnating and you're filled with hate all the time, you're feeding whatever's trapped into you. I read a whole document about the whole Saturn thing, because the black cube is very apparent in a lot of cultures.
Yes. Isn't that in the Jewish culture where they have that black cube on their head?
Jewish, and then the Islams go to that Kaj or Baj or something, and they walk around the black cube. Walking around the black cube like the rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
You put a ring on your finger when you do holy matrimony. There's a lot of like weird stuff when you tie into that.
Weird. Was this the girl that did your books or your truck?
She looks like she would. She looks like she might.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys came for ETH Denver. What was that like?
It was fun. We didn't go to the main event. We just went to the side events, and we are working with Abstract, Luca and Michael Lee's new L2. We share the same focus of just obsession with consumerism and onboarding the next, 100 million people over the next decade.
What's the difference between like the side events and the main events?
The main event is a giant conference with different tables and
Like speakers and stuff?
Yeah, there's panels, and some of the panels are good. I'm not hating on ETH Denver by any means, but all the people I knew were at the side events, and I didn't really know anyone at the main event, so
It's a good game.
it's more fun to go to private invite stuff anyway.
Yeah, because not everyone has access to those.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. In terms of bringing it back to the NFT thing, obviously, I mean, I'm sure we all agree Pudgy Penguins seems to be like the number one.
Yep.
Do you see any other like NFTs that could even make it at this point?
I mean, Punks is technically the number one. And
But do they even like do events or anything?
No.
It's just the fact they're the first.
Yep, cult following. I mean, it's just, like CryptoKitties was number 2, and those are worthless. And I think Punks is kind of like the OG BTC holders just kind of have gravitated towards that. And those guys don't sell, as we all know.
Yeah.
But Pudgy does quite a bit more, and I think what Pudgy did was just revolutionize what NFTs are supposed to be, and like really set a standard of, if you're gonna come into this space, like here's the bar.
Right.
And just treating it as an IP and a legitimate brand over anything. So hats off to them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Peter Kell, that's one guy I did a podcast with. He bought like one of the first NFTs ever made. It was like a Homer Simpson one on the blockchain.
That's crazy.
You know what those are called?
I don't.
I think he bought it for like $500,000, and I think he might have sold for a loss. I'm not sure.
That's
You don't remember those, the NFTs on blockchain? I mean, on Bitcoin's chain.
No, I mean, my first dabble with NFTs was CryptoKitties in 2017, and I should have bought Punks instead, but what can you do?
Yeah. Or so I wish I could see 10 seconds into the future, because you could probably make $1 billion in one day.
Easily.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see, because when I talked to you last, had you even started Involio yet?
On the podcast?
Yeah. Okay. And then when I was in Arizona, you guys, I think, were at like 10 or 20,000 users, right?
Yeah, we were at 15,000 users last December.
So 15,000 to 180,000 with no marketing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens when the marketing drops.
That's what we're excited about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that, and we'll have to do another one once you
Yeah.
do the marketing just
Yeah.
to catch up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out. This is
Yeah.
a fun podcast.
Thanks, Scott.
See ya.
Peace.